Alpha plays only.
Can get into the whole nitty gritty of how it came to be, but
We'll definitely touch that
yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
I wanted to just kind of just start off with who you are. I think I want to play that trailer for the people on the stream that are watching.
yeah,
Did you tell you people to come on in?
yeah. Then we can give him a shout out, but yeah,
Let me
people.
go to this trailer that I saw just so we can kind of set the stage here. Um, Let me expand this. Definitely getting a lot of good views on this. We'll switch screens now
Excellent.
and turn this. The volume is good here. Let's go back from the beginning. First off, this first scene. I don't know if you're on a tank. I don't know if this is a pontoon, but this thing looks militarized. Very, very beautiful stuff here, bro. All
Yeah.
right, here we go. We're gonna play it in 3, 2, 1, go. Sheesh. Everything in that is just perfect. Absolutely perfect. The sound, the expressions, your acting. Wait, are you an actor at all in this space? Because you seem like you created a lot of these Wolverine things like that. Is this your time to be in the limelight? What's that look like?
I mean, yeah, this is. I guess that's kind of. Yeah, I guess now is my time to be in the limelight. I mean, I was sort of in Alien versus Predator. I was the Predator voice in that movie. I did the growling. I don't know if you know that movie at all, but you know the Predator with the weird mandibles. I ended up doing the growling, but that wasn't me in front of the camera. This is my first time kind of taking on that role. Before I was always the man behind the camera. Now I'm kind of taking a more all-encompassing approach to the system.
For sure. When you worked on that stuff, just go into your past before you go in your present. What were you doing on those movies? Were you a part of the CGI team? Were you a part of the directing team, the production team? What was the roles
Yeah,
there?
well, for Alien versus Predator, I worked as a concept artist and a map painter. So I did first I did like I designed like part of the helmet, and I don't know if you remember, but like the side of the Predator's face is burnt off. So I kind of like designed how that was going to look, and then I did a bunch of weapon stuff for them, and then I worked on the Predator home planet. So it was like a big map painting how the Predator home planet would look, and I was on set, kind of running around like a dork, doing the impression of the Predator while I was there. And they needed somebody to actually do the growl for the movie, and I just ended up getting the gig because I guess no one could do it. But so that was the only real experience I had being in front of the camera, I guess.
Wow. And it seems like with SIFT, just there's a lot of layers to unpack here. The mechanicals, the what are these robots here? What was in your mind creating this stuff? What's truly in your mind that you can create a product like SIFT and make that look so good?
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. So, yeah, I mean, SIFT is, to get really nerdy, it takes place 200 years after the last war, where the remaining superpowers, like humanity's remaining superpowers, are fighting over the last resources. And they use, like, Boston Dynamics, like, automated war machines to to fight that last war. And then they left our planet in ruin, and then cut to 200 years, and you have this kind of wasteland of destroyed warlike robotic units walking around, like still walking around and killing things, but and they're malfunctioning. And the survivors of that, this world, they have to sift, through that technology in order to, I guess, survive. So that's kind of like I guess the framework for or the arena, I guess, as they say, for the
Wow.
world.
Um,
Yeah.
did it take a lot of effort? When did you realize? I'll go before we go more into story. When did you realize NFTs were the thing for this story to get your IP out to the world? When did that aha moment happen?
Well, when I first started making this project, I didn't think about using NFTs. It was actually, I was putting it together as kind of at first, like a pitch piece to get the movie off the ground because, when you're developing your own IP, a lot of, you have to have obviously a killer presentation and try to take the studio route, right? But then I just, once I started working, like I got these really cool collaboration projects, and I started working with these other people, other artists on their NFTs, helping them animate. I just really started to dive into the philosophy behind it. I love the community aspect of it. I love what it has to offer artists, and like the potential of where it can go. It's really, like, it's really beautiful, like what, the ideal behind it, you know what I mean? And people like Lady Phoenix, I think like she just kind of opened my eyes to possibilities. And it was just like, all right, well, I have this really cool project that's gonna take the traditional route. Like, why not try to make this thing come to fruition using the NFT space? Because in a way, like there are, metaverse components in SIFT, and that just kind of allows me to expand on the world in a new way, unrestricted by like the studio system. Like as a creative, you want that, you want like creative freedom, and so that's why I was just attracted to it. And so now I'm on that hype train, just trying to get that thing out in front of people so I can build this thing with everybody. That's where we're at.
Absolutely. It's the
Yeah.
traditional way of telling stories in Hollywood. Yeah, you definitely had to, jump through hoops and make sure your presentation is right. Are you getting a lot of good collectors and traction with your storytelling? A lot of people hitting you up. What is your
Yeah.
strategy to get that out there to a big box office?
Wait for SIFT.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely have a lot of people hitting me up. Some big news. Hopefully, I'll be revealing in the next couple of weeks. As far as strategy goes, just kind of getting involved with the community. I mean, that's kind of it's what's required, right? Obviously, and so and also I love it. Like I really feel like these people have kind of embraced me with open arms, and like I've never really had that sense of community before with like an audience. Never had that connection before with an audience. And also other artists too, they're super supportive, which I really love. It's like it's a really beautiful thing for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. When it comes down to telling the story here, um, what kind of suggestions would you give people on telling story here, being a really great storyteller? Are you starting your story from the middle and then extrapolating it from there? Do you have to have a great plot? What was your storytelling style like in NFTs?
um I'll answer that question in 1 second, but can you hear that lawnmower in the background, or are we good?
No, can't hear it. No buzz coming.
All right, all right, good. Because my neighbor just turned on his lawnmower. So yeah, as far as storytelling goes, yeah, I mean, look, I wrote, I wrote the script, so it's story is key. Like that's the backbone of any real movie. Like you can have the general idea, but I had to break down the characters and find out how that character journey works into a 3 act structure. And the process of storytelling is sitting behind a computer and going through this painstaking process of bringing your ideas into reality. you know
Nice. Will you
yeah.
will you ever like incorporate something like your holders into your story at all
Oh yeah,
with
totally. So yeah,
foundation and
yeah, so that brings me into like, yeah, a broader question. Yeah. So like with this specifically, like with the first SIFT drop I'm doing, yeah, I want to have the holders be like there's like a producer credit there, and like a real utility. And I'm also, I don't know if I showed you that thing I showed you earlier, that Soul Drive project I'm working on as well. It's another component to SIFT because there's like this kind of broken metaverse inside the SIFT world that is called the Soul Drive, where users can basically upload their consciousness to these soul drives. And if you buy one of these things, I'm actually going to take people's faces and then turn them into a hologram. So you're actually inside the animation, which is really cool. But as far as utility goes, I also want to use those holograms inside the actual movie. So you get to be in the movie if you're older, which is really, and I don't think anyone's really done that before. Actually going to have people, like if you buy an NFT, one of the Soul Drive NFTs, or you get to be in the movie as a hologram, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Wow, that's serious. Yeah. That's utility. That's utility. That's also just nostalgia for like 10 years. They'll tell their children. That's something that you can. I feel like right now we're in the Renaissance age of like IP development of the 80s, of the early 20s as well. And some of these IPs that are popping off, Parallel, Huxley, Watcher, even stuff like you're doing, you don't see that come often in this space. So I think that's why you're getting gravitated towards. But yeah, if you could have holders inside the movie, yeah, dude, you'll create a forever bond.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I think that's going to be an exciting thing. I don't think anyone's doing that right now. But as the NFT, you get a hologram of yourself when you purchase one of the Soul Drives. So you have to like send me a picture of your face, and then like a little message that you want to include, and then your brain, I guess, is forever encapsulated in the Soul Drive, which is part of
it. Is that did you drop that teaser yet?
I did right before we got on the call here.
Nice. Where can I find that Soul Drive teaser so I could like show people? Is it?
It's on the should be on my Twitter. Oh. Yeah, you could definitely repost that one. I'm going to be doing that guy with OpenSea. But yeah, they're empty Soul Drives. I think I'm going to start off like 20 because I have to personally, obviously personally, but I have to do every single one myself. So it's not just like, and they're custom to the people who buy them. So I think I'm going to do 20 at first and then see how much time that takes because it's going to be pretty involved.
It's playing right now, some audio. That's crazy how you're going into the brain of the soul. Very sci-fi.
Hey, hold on a second. Let me just tell this guy to be. Hey man, is there any way you could go? Sorry, I'm on this like podcast right now. Is there any way you can just come? You can come back next week. All right. Yeah, thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
So when it went inside the tube there, what is that? What is that significance? Is it that the DNA of the soul?
Yeah. Well, you ever heard of Ray Kurzweil, the futurist Ray Kurzweil? Yeah. So he wrote that book, Singularity is Near, about how artificial intelligence is, at one point going to hit that we don't have to get into the artificial intelligence part, but he has this whole thing about after you die, having the ability to actually upload your consciousness, like your soul, into a network so that you can forever be suspended in kind of like this digital nirvana. So like in the SIFT universe, at the end of like the war, all these like kind of elites or whatever, and they had there's like a version, it's almost like a version of cryogenics, but it's like digital cryogenics. So there's just like these drives underground of all these consciousness, like these minds that are just kind of collecting dust, right? It's like a graveyard of uploaded brains that have been, or consciousness that have been saved onto these soul drives.
Wow, that's next level.
Super nerdy.
It's literally.
But yeah, my mate. What's that?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say my main character, his family, he lives alone, but his actual his wife and kids, they're actually they live in that kind of soul drive realm. And so he's like, he has this relationship with a consciousness from the past. But they're not actual real physical beings, but they do feel feelings. They're just saved on a network. And so then the big, the conflict comes in when the power for that network starts to fail, right? And then that's when chaos ensues and we need to go and
Is there
save.
an
Alpha plays only.